I don't have time for this bullshit.
Ha! Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. All this guy ever does is BS. Anyway, it's time for another edition of BSing with Big Nate.
Hillbilly Vegas, high time for a good time on another edition of BS with Big Nate, joined by Steve. And I just want to point out, I don't know if anyone's ever said this to you, Steve Harris, that similar name as Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. Does that get pointed out often?
Not anymore, but it used to. Yeah, I used to be in a different band, and we traveled extensively, and we were out in LA, and a lot of people brought it up a lot, but I do not have his bank account or his skills on the bass.
I mean, the man is he's one of the most underappreciated bass players, I think, in music, because I mean a lot of Maiden's music he writes.
I think as a band they were underappreciated by the mainstream people. They were really good, and they're very good still.
Oh yeah, easily one of the best shows I've seen. But we're not here to talk about Iron Maiden. We're here to talk about.
I'll talk about whatever. I don't care.
I realized on this one that I didn't bring it up last time we talked. Is that the Steve Harris connection there?
No, I like it being brought up. It's been a while.
I always worry. The one I always got, because my last name Sparks, was Nicholas Sparks, and comparisons to the Notebook. It was big when I was in high school. Hated it. Hated it. It was the worst. Okay, so I want to talk about that track and then some things you guys have had going on since the last time we talked. I mean, that's a real good kind of Southern party song.
Yeah, it was not meant to be anything else. I think sometimes when we go into songwriting, we try not to think of anything and just if I hear a piece of music, I try to let it paint a picture for me. And when Stacy, our guitarist, brought that music in, it kind of just painted a good old fashioned rock and roll good time song. And I try to let the music tell me what it wants to be and not try to force it. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I think it comes out really well. I think it would have. I think it stands up there with some of the better party songs there are, and it stands out to me. It's something that you can't listen to it and not be happy. And I feel like a lot of times music gets too bogged down in too much thinking, and it feels much more organic in nature.
Well, I think the best music is the songs that you hear and they bring something back to you from a good time that you had when you were younger or whatever. And I think those are the people that last.
Yeah, and another thing is this track has been greatly successful for you guys. So how do you feel on the way it's been received?
Surprised, honestly, when our manager told us, hey, we've talked to some radio people and we think it has a shot here. Let's go to radio. And we've went to radio a lot of times, and we've charted a few singles in America and overseas. But I think the first week we saw our name pop up on the Billboard charts, it felt different, and it's really exciting. If it all goes away tomorrow, it was great seeing our name on that chart.
No, well, I don't think it's going to be the last time, and I don't think it's going to go away. I think you guys are very calculated in what you do, and yeah, we just mentioned that there's not a lot of thinking in this track, but there is a lot of passion, love, and I mean, it's good old fashioned rock and roll, like we said. And I think, was it a conscientious decision to put it out in summer?
It was a conscientious decision to put it out on July 4th weekend. We started thinking several months ago when they started talking about lifting some of the COVID protocols that we might be able to get out and play. So we booked a few shows, and then we were talking, and we have an entire album's worth of new material that will be coming out when we're completely finished. But we started talking about it. I said, we have a song that kind of explains how we feel about finally getting out again, and I think how a lot of people might feel. And so we talked to our manager, and he said, yeah, I think we can do that. I think that's a good idea. And so we put it out, and we wanted to make a statement about how we felt. And that's really all we did. We didn't have that, to be perfectly honest with you, Nate, we didn't really have that high of expectations with it. We never do, because, you just see what happens.
Well, if you set the bar low, you're it's easier to please, I think. But I think I didn't even think about the COVID connection here with things finally starting to open up. So that high time for a good time makes even more of an impact. And I think the time was just perfectly right for the track.
Yeah, and that's what we thought. So that's why we went ahead, because, it was released a couple of years ago, mainly as a video. And the video actually did really well for us. It was on several network nationally and internationally, and it got nominated for a video award. And so as a video, it's been out a little while, but it had never been released properly through radio or through anything like that.
Now, I also want to go back to something else that happened in July. I know a guy who's been in a plane crash. They were on the tarmac and plane back to another plane, so technically still a plane crash.
Sure.
You guys actually had a pretty scary incident with a bus.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, on the release date of this song, we took out on the bus to head out on our first shows in a long time. And at mile marker number 1 in Alabama, we had a blowout on the front steer tire on the driver's side, about 65, 70 miles an hour. And if anybody knows about what that feels like, we hit a bridge and with the front, and then we kind of wiggled around, and it got pretty dicey. And then the back end lifts it up, and we hit the back of the bridge. And then we just started going everywhere, and we were pretty braced for the fact that we were going to roll. And our driver, Joe, who is a wounded warrior and who was trained in a lot of big vehicle driving. He really did the job. And I made a joke the other night. We played a show, and I thanked Joe one more time from stage. I said, "Now we're even, Joe, but I'll thank him one more time today." He probably saved our lives, because the troopers told us most of the time those end up with fatalities, and we all walked away. Our guitarist Jason Meredith, he got a broken neck, but three fractures in his neck, a lot of bumps, a lot of bruises, a lot of pain that people are still going through with back pain and things like that. But we are pretty satisfied that we walked away from that one.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty incredible. All I had seen was the post you guys made a couple of weeks back. It was about the month you'd had, and it was the bus.
Yeah.
And then the picture, and it didn't look that bad. So to hear you tell the story, like, my God, like, yeah, that's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and say thanks to Joe as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you know what? It's hard to make and we didn't want to over dramatize it or anything, but it was scary. I mean, it was a scary 30 seconds. Let's put it that way. But the troopers told us usually when you hit and have a blowout like that, you have to go down in the median, which is very, 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 has a steep incline, that usually you roll. And the way that Joe maneuvered the bus is that he just turned it straight downward. And so we just went straight down, and then he leveled it out once we got in the center of that thing, and it kept us from rolling. So it could have been a lot worse.
From here on out, no matter what transportation Hillbilly Vegas is taking, I think Joe has to be in charge.
Well, Joe's part of the family. We are very family oriented, and so Joe is always going to be. Joe's also our photographer. He's a professional photographer, very talented, and he's shot for many bigger acts in his career as well, as far as photography too. He's a talented guy.
That's incredible. So, what's next for Hillbilly Vegas? What are you guys working on now?
New transportation right now, and then we start back on the road Labor Day weekend in New Mexico.
The glamour of rock and roll. What are you doing?
Yeah,
we're looking for a new bus.
And we're looking for a new bus. Well, we found new buses. We are just waiting for all the insurance and all that stuff to be taken care of.
Gotcha. Well, where are you playing Labor Day weekend?
We are in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Oh, what a great place to be Labor Day weekend.
Yes, we have played there before.
All right. Well, give Hillbilly Vegas some love. High Time for a Good Time out now. You guys, please, for the love of God, stay safe on your travels Labor Day weekend.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, Nate, for having us.